there are some spaces in links other places that I would really like to fix as well. I believe like browsers semi-recently stopped handling spaces well. Yeah, SL maps. And we have various small marketplace fixes, like see mature content anyway link wasn't working the way we wanted it to, and then Juniper went on a campaign to get our translations added and updated for some of the new stuff, which was great. Thank you. And then we had an old bug on search that was causing auctions to show up as free that we shipped. And also, like, not necessarily specifically the web folks, but the company went to GDC, which was cool.
I saw pictures.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody is going to actually do it, but I'm hoping that we can get the Lindens together for a Linden Summit in the foreseeable, and then have some residents come out to hang out with us for the end of our summit. You were not happy about GDC, Sassy?
I wasn't, I was underwhelmed.
By our booth?
Yeah, I just, sorry. Actually, I was just whelmed. Sorry, whole 10 things, blah, blah. I don't get it. Second Life is so visual, and that booth was so meh. And I feel like it could have been the most incredible looking thing there, just by uploading some images from Second Life residents, you know, from the official group thing, Flickr thing. It was just really not eye-grabbing from afar. The monitor was so small that two people standing in front of it completely blocked the view from anywhere else, and you were right next to Adobe. That seems like such a captive audience of people going to Adobe and then realizing that they could use all the Adobe tools in Second Life. It was just upsettingly not planned well, it seems. But no offense, I'm just trying to say that it could have been incredible looking.
We have gotten that feedback, and we agree. We went through some internal changes about what it was we were trying to get out of GDC. And I think at one point we were going to have an amazing booth, and we've talked about cool things that we could do, like what if we had, instead of a back curtain, we had an entire LCD display, and people could walk into the booth and the display could be a DJ at a club or something. And then we could have people have like funny hats with Second Life stuff or whatever to like have a real life they're in a Second Life club moment, which would be kind of cool. Or some of the creators that came with us to GDC suggested that they could make our booth better as well. And I wondered about showcasing resident creations in our booth instead of us even trying to do something, because y'all are more creative than we are.
I just think like even just a couple of big monitors just having a slideshow of creations and locations and tutorials. You know what I mean? Like the tutorials that people have on YouTube of them creating for Second Life would be, you know, somebody seeing the tools that are at GDC being used and seeing how they finish off. I'm not trying to say bad Lindens. I'm just trying to say it hopefully next year.
Well, and you're right. Like this year was our sticking our toe in the water, seeing what it was like. We can definitely do better. And I think Philip Wiggs would be hilarious. Hey, Sntax, I ran down that list of the things that I told you about that we'd shipped, except for the P0 one, if you want to talk about that, or if you want to go into other things from other teams.
Sure, yeah. So for P0 stuff, We basically have been working on things to make it more stable and improve performance. We've also been working on one of the first new iterations of the new UI for the it always gets a little confusing when I say Project Zero because it's kind of been used interchangeably for Firestorm versus what is the SL default viewer. I'm specifically talking about the SL default viewer right now, where we're working on a new UI for it. And we're going to be shipping the new version of that, like the very first iteration of it. It's going to be very small changes. That should be coming out pretty soon. But we've been mostly working on looking at the kind of feedback we've gotten after the Firestorm launch, which feels like an eternity ago, but actually wasn't that long ago, and then trying to get through all of the bugs that we've been seeing. I'm not sure if anyone here has tried or purchased hours for the Firestorm version. I'm happy to add you to the list if you ran into any problems, and we can dive into that as well. But we have been looking into certain errors of people having problems getting in, like they're not able to log in, or other issues we've been running into is someone might have been in world for a long period of time and then their session became corrupted and they can't come back in. And basically that means that your cookies are broken and you need to clear your cookies and clear your cache, or try logging in through a browser in incognito mode, or I think that's also called private browsing. You tried, but it wouldn't let you, meaning it said, sorry, we're full. Interesting. If you are trying to log into 0.secondlife.com/fs and you've bought hours and you got an error on that screen that says, sorry, we're full, it's not so much that your error is that we're full, it's that we're showing you the wrong error. Which is something we've been working through. Yeah, I have talked to the team about the idea of a queue as well. And we've been thinking about potentially doing that. Luck of the refresh, what do you mean? Really? There's no reason why that should be happening. So you have 10 hours on your account, and you were able to log in for 20 minutes, and you've never been able to log back in, and it's always telling you have that we're full? Okay, I'm going to look at your account right now. Hey Tara, have you tried logging in? Just humor me and pull up a browser in incognito mode and try logging in real quick and see if it lets you in.
She's recording. I don't know if she'll be able to do it right now because it would log her out, right?
Okay. When you have a chance, try doing it in incognito mode or clearing your cookies. And then if you get the I'm full, or sorry, we're full error message me in world and I'll take another look. I'm going to look at your account right now. And I think I need to tell the team we need to reprioritize fixing the error message. It would be very rare if you have purchased hours and you're going to 0.secondlife.com/fs and you're logging in for the Firestorm version that you cannot get a slot because we're full. That would be exceedingly rare.
Can we, like, if you're going to go looking under the hood, can you make it clearer that launch Second Life in a browser is launching Second Life Firestorm in a browser? Because the Project Zero, the SL Viewer one, has no button, and that one's Firestorm, but everybody would assume it's the Second Life one because there's nothing that, you know, shows that it's Firestorm at all. It's just words, and there's nothing telling you that it's the paid for Firestorm version.
I think what you're referring to is if you're on your accounts page, I think in the header, there's like a little button that says try new browser or something like that.
Yeah. You're supposed to launch from, or whatever. It just says launch Second Life on desktop, launch Second Life in a browser, but that's the Firestorm link. But there's nothing to signify that that's Firestorm and not SL. And so people don't know that that's the one you have to pay for. Like, you're not, you know, you're not disclosing that one's Firestorm and there's no Project Zero Second Life Viewer button at all, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, and I think we need to do a better job of differentiating between the two in terms of not only like how we name things, but how we present it and where we present it. Putting it in the header as that one link does make it seem rather confusing. And if you're someone who comes in new and you have access, or you've tried 0.secondlife.com, the non-Firestorm version, it's not very clear how you come back.
That's what I mean. You need an SL Viewer button and a Firestorm Viewer browser button, because there should be logos there. They should show who they belong to and, you know, who's accountable for that too. Because if Firestorm are going to end up doing support for the Firestorm browser, I don't know that they are, but if they are, then there's no identifier. There's no branding for them either. There's no win-win for them to understand that they're the ones that new residents are coming in on, and then they don't understand that they need to get the Firestorm browser for their PC if they go that route in the future. Like, there's just no, just give me the keys to the website, will ya?
I want to respond to one comment in chat that you can't create with it. What's the main blocker or the main thing that's missing that's stopping you from being able to create with it? Uploads, yep.
Yeah, if somebody did need it in an emergency, which is why I bought the hours, then if the emergency is actually getting items set up for an event or a release or something like that, you can't.
Being able to download templates for making mods, that's something that you would like to be able to do on the browser version, but you're not able to? Hey Tara, that is something we're looking into as well. The delay, we actually have been looking into timing the delay based on location. So if you're someone who lives in, let's say, Europe, you have somewhat of a delay because the test servers right now are based in the west coast of the United States, where Linden Lab's located. Which does have advantages in other ways because you're really close to the grid then, so your teleports will be faster, but it introduces a little bit of lag that we are planning on addressing. If you purchased hours for the Firestorm version and you've been having issues, just DM me right now and I'll add you to my list. If you've been trying to go into just zero.secondlife.com, not the Firestorm version, and you've been getting a Word full screen, that does happen a lot. But for the Firestorm version, you should not be getting that screen. It means that we're doing something wrong. You'd want to be able to use the default SL browser versus the Firestorm one, or a different UI over top of that. It should have a chat bar. I'm using it right now, and I've got a chat bar. I can chat to you.
Sarah's talking about the SL viewer. It doesn't have a chat bar.
Really? Interesting.
You don't know that it doesn't have a chat bar?
It doesn't look like that for me.
Down the bottom, as in nearby chat, there's no bar that's just sitting there. You have to actually press the chat button to open up nearby chat.
I would ask if you had a screenshot, but obviously you can't grab one right now.
We want it to be there automatically from the get-go. Because new users just don't realise how to communicate as well. It makes it very difficult. Call on when the destination guide will go back onto the website, because some people in Discord thought it was closed the other day.
Oh no. Okay. I will escalate that ticket.
Yeah, the links still work and everything if you have them, because I just typed DG in thing. Oh, no, apparently not. Apparently I don't just type that. Oh yeah, I do. Look at that. And it autofills, so I'm fine, but yeah, people in the Discord the other day were asking if it had been closed. Was it no longer? Blah, blah, blah.
So Sassy, there's like, or and Co. There's like several different ways to look at Destination Guide. One of them is the destination floater in the viewer, and one's the login screen that nobody ever looks at. There's destinations in web search, and then there's the actual Destination Guide. I get that y'all are wanting to look at the actual Destination Guide website. Do you ever look at it in the other places as well?
Yeah, I look at it a few places. It was so funny that you said no one, because we brought that up. I think Sntax brought that up with Philip once, that as soon as you think that nobody uses something, you'll find 200 people IMing you that they do. So, but yeah, I use all of the different options, because especially when we're letting new residents know how to move about the grid. So you get to tell them different things even in the mobile client. So yeah, but people have found that they like, some of the mentors really like showing the newer residents the website, because as I've always said, it should be our sort of like manual.
I got it. So that on the not website, it still does not search region names, Sarah. It's a back end. It's tough. Do y'all use the in viewer browser, or do you pop out a browser outside of the viewer when you want to look at Second Life websites?
Always outside. There was actually a situation too with some of the vendor systems way back. I don't know if it's still the case, but if people were clicking on redelivery or things like that, and they had in-world browsers set, they couldn't get it because it wouldn't allow for pop-ups and stuff like that that was needed. So a lot of people have been retrained to use outside anyway.
Would you want the links to automatically pop out to your default browser?
I think they do already with Firestorm at least, so I think a lot of us are used to it working that way. Yeah, mine automatically. We get the option to toggle that on and off. Yes.
Oh, that is useful. Okay, I've got a really dumb question. Do I say Ezra or Spooky if I'm talking to that person?
Ezra.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Yes, I will send that over to that team, Ezra.
I always get confused by that too, Callie, but if there's 3 names, that's always a good indication.
I'm glad you said that because I figured I was just making a really dumb faux pas and having
No.
been in London for 10 years and not knowing.
I only turned display names on when I started doing mentoring so that I knew people could do it or what they had, etc. I've not used them because it's really complicated when you do ticket systems for jobs and stuff like that. You need the legit legacy names.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as a person who cares about our websites and CEF takes 2 seconds to load, I just wanted to hear how people actually did things.
Do you actually get a track of what people are actually doing with the internal browser? Like, are people just going to the links that are happening in SL, or are people actually able to, like, hide their search history from the outside world by doing it internally?
We don't usually look at what people are. I haven't really looked at what people are doing with the internal browser, but I look at the stats for different web pages and see whether people are looking at them in whatever browser they're looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's right.
For example, you might be surprised to know that most shopping on the marketplace is done via the internal browser in the viewer.
I am shooketh to my core.
A lot of you probably use it on Google Chrome as an external browser, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be surprised to know most of your shoppers are using it in the in-viewer browser.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that, but that would also explain a lot of mistakes.
It is something we really do want to improve. For example, the Project Zero viewer can only use the internal browser in the viewer. So it's definitely something that we want to make better.
Yep, it does, Ezra. That explains a lot, because if they're looking at it in a small screen in world, they're not seeing everything. And that could explain a lot of the times when people have bought gifts for themselves by mistake, etc., etc.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why, when we were working on responsive marketplace to make it work better on smaller screens, a big part of that was also the fact that your browser experience for a lot of the people who are shopping on marketplace are doing it in the in-viewer browser, which is going to always be a smaller window because they're doing it inside the actual viewer itself. And we don't particularly want to make it so you have to full screen that browser, which can then block the world. And we think most people, when they're using the in-viewer browser, probably are using it kind of like a floater, like a chat floater, a smaller window. So we're trying to improve that experience so the marketplace will respond to that smaller and display better on that smaller window.
Again, I wonder if that's a secret thing. See, what I was getting at before when I was asking about how much was going on internally, I wonder if that's another reason, because, regardless of what people think, Second Life is still some people's little secret. And so that means that Marketplace isn't hitting their history if they're doing it internally.
I want to say, I guess I could test this. Well, no, actually I can't test this right now, but if you click a link in chat, like if somebody gives you a link to a product page, a marketplace, or a store, I want to say that will, by default, unless you have some kind of setting, loaded in the in-viewer browser, because it's a Linden-owned website. I think we still do that.
I wonder if that's also the problem with getting the phishing attacks happening and people stealing people's information, because those people are opening it up in world. That's why they're getting done in by getting asked for a password and information, whereas the people that open externally are probably less likely to fall for that even if they click it. But if it's a phishing link, Tornado, is what I'm saying, they're just not thinking because they're so used to it being safe. there any actual information on that? Because we've talked in length about removing the ability to link in groups entirely unless a moderator or an owner of the group to save the people from being hacked, etc. Is that getting any further in the works?
I'm actually not certain because I've just been so focused on the browser version of SL. But I'm curious and drilling down a little bit on this. So it's common for someone to attempt to phish other people by giving marketplace links in chat?
Yep, very common. Happens in every group all day.
Really? Would you say that's the most common way? It
happens a lot. Yeah. They go into groups and they spam, and you'll see them hit like 50 groups if you're in 50 groups.
Yeah, okay. That makes total sense. So let's say, or go ahead, Holly.
We've been talking about ways to more easily block bad links in chat, but I'd have to ask the groups that are responsible for chat if they're talking about turning off sending links in groups if you're not the owner of the group.
Yeah, we've gone in length about that at the other meetings, and with Philip himself when he's called his own little meetings about how the owners of groups would absolutely champion that. They could even have it as a separate role too, so you could have your VIP sort of customers that you trust to share a link occasionally, like a slurl for a store or a location that something from your store is available in. But new residents, for instance, just wouldn't be able to post links because they would be potentially be bots, etc., etc. It would be game-changing.
Yeah, so Sntax nor I are part of the team that works on that, so we're not sure where it is on their roadmap. But I've definitely heard talking about enhancing the tool to squash known bad actor links and links from bad actors.
That would be amazing. Also stop the other ugly spam too, you know, when somebody just dives into somebody's group and wants to advertise their club or whatever, things like that. If they don't have the rights to link, then it doesn't work for them, so they might stop doing it.
Good, prefers incentives. I like it. Okay.
So let's say I'm someone who's trying to send these phishing links, and it's a marketplace. It's disguised as a marketplace link, drop it in a group chat or like a nearby chat or something like that. I'm assuming after you click that link, it would go to like a login screen and ask you to put in credentials, and then they've got your credentials.
Yeah. And people are falling for it. I even had an IM once in a group just recently where a 15-year-old resident, or 15 years in SL as a resident, IM'd me in a complete panic because she clicked it. And I said, it's fine, you just clicked it, you didn't actually do anything. Just she said, should I change my password? And I just said it wouldn't hurt, you know. But she was just overwhelmed with, you know, she'd clicked it because it was a group. She felt safe in the group. It was a store group. She thought it was somebody sending the message from, you know, like the owner of the group, like Ezra might do in her own group. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. Also, just to reiterate, what happens when you send notices now is that the notice actually appears in chat. So if a link is sent in a notice, then it comes through in the chat, and that's why people get conditioned to click links in chat, because they think that they're just, you know, it's normal for that group to have links that you click through to, etc. Discord does that too, Tornado.
Okay, I wanted to come today to talk about something that I think people will have a lot of strong opinions about, but I wanted to use this time to give people just an open microphone and a way to give me feedback on how you think this should be done. So the top post on the feedback channel for Marketplace is absolutely asking for a policy on AI, and I can totally understand why. But I'm curious, what exactly do people want? There's obviously one end of the spectrum of like just ban everything. Then there's another end of the spectrum where allow everything. I mean, we probably want something in the middle, but maybe that's not true. What do we want to see? Is it some things are allowed and other things aren't, but they have to be clearly marked? Is it that we should just ban anything that's AI, or is it things that contain AI or were made by AI? It's a little hard to kind of come to a consensus on this because it's just so large in scope. So yeah, I'm just curious on people's thoughts on this.
Start with just a checkbox that says this item contains AI content and go from there. Start with the one part.
So if something, let's say somebody created a 3D model, because I've kind of seen like the ability to do this. I don't know a ton about it, but I've seen ways for people to create a 3D model using mostly generative AI. That would be something we would want to be marked as AI, even though it doesn't necessarily contain something that is AI. Like, if you made a bot and it had ChatGPT as a part of that, that's something that contains AI. We would want something on Marketplace to be marked was made with AI.
I think, like I said, having a checkbox that says this product contains AI, for some people that are anti-AI altogether, that would mean there would be a filter for that. They could just do not show any AI product. That's it. It's all gone. It doesn't matter what it is, how it is, it's all gone. They would not see it. And if it's something like, somebody said the other day they saw some backdrops that looked really great. They went to get them and it was just textures of AI images for sale. They weren't bashing the item or anything like that. It was just not what they thought it was. Again, that item could say that it's AI content. Because it can be any sort of method. It could be just, that somebody used AI to translate some information that the script says. It doesn't mean that, it's a big bad thing. Or it could be that they used AI to create the script in the first place. Also not a bad thing. That is fine, and they are allowed.
So one thing I think we can kind of already be clear about is if someone uses like an AI let's say they use like Midjourney or something and create an AI generated photo that does not represent the item that they're selling, that would already be against our policy. And you could report that using the right system. But I think what I'm sort of seeing here is that we want a way to identify that something has been made with generative AI and then be able to filter that out.
Can we also, like, while we're on this subject, because it's Marketplace and stuff, yesterday, unfortunately, I had adults checked and was looking for displays, and whoa, what's the policy on real life images? Because that's somebody else's work. You know, like this was pornography. It was pornography, and it was real people, and it was whoa, and I just think that, you know, you can't flag this stuff because it is under the adult thing. But it's not my work. But I don't see how that stuff should be on Marketplace. Like, I just don't see why that's the things that we have to look at. One store having 300 things for sale that are all real life pornography images, that they don't have the license for that. Right, how do you find the owner of pornography content?
I think that would already be against our policy. It's kind of hard for me to say without seeing the exact listing itself. If you could DM it to me, I can then go and see if it is against the policy, and then we can take it down. It sounds like it by the way you're describing it.
Ugh, I have to go find it. Okay. I feel really bad having to share that link with you. It's just. Can I just
I understand,
DM?
yeah.
I tell you what, I'll find it and then I'll just IM you the person selling it. That's better.
Oh,
Sharing a link to porn with a Linden is sort of against my sort of whole thing.
Oh, I love that. You know, I say more sentences here that I did not think I would say or hear in a work context.
Yeah, I kind of agree, Ezra. The problem is that I don't know how often, people who are using AI in a way that we probably don't want on Marketplace probably aren't going to self-identify themselves. It's hard for us to enforce. Even in today's world, where I do know that if somebody has an AI created image of something and then the item in world that you're getting is nowhere near represented by that image, that's already against our policy, but it's hard for us to catch those things. So even if you report it, we have to go in world and test it to make sure that it's actually what you say. So it takes a hard time, or it's hard for us to enforce it. But it's better than nothing. But that being said,
I just want to say, like, I'm not anti-AI. I'm anti-stealing and blah, 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 but I'm not anti-AI usage. But I want to say one thing about the use of things in ads and stuff like that. One of the things is that a lot of these content creators are just playing with a new shiny toy. They're making their ads look prettier, just like Vogue does, just like real life things do. They airbrush and they touch up and they do all sorts of things. But again, if it isn't what you get, like if they make pretty hair for a skin ad, they make pretty hair for a clothes ad, as long as the clothing looks like it's supposed to in the picture, then there's nothing wrong with that. If it doesn't, then they're just deceitful in general. It's got nothing to do with AI. They could have just as easily taken a picture off Google. If they're going to misrepresent, they're going to misrepresent, full stop. It's not AI's fault that they're sneaky.
We are looking at adding some additional reasons to flag. Should be pretty easy to add that. One of the ones we were looking at was, like, this violates Linden's policy or something like that, but we have to work on the wording. So that might be a thing.
Pantera, I may have actually fixed your issue. Whenever you get a chance, try logging back in.
So there may be AI image, AI mesh, AI scripting checkboxes, perhaps.
Something that would be really helpful is if you have an example of something on Marketplace that you think uses AI in a way that we should be flagging or banning. That would be really helpful for me.
They just posted a link.
I know I'm looking through links right now in chat, but any more examples is really helpful. I see one here. It hasn't loaded for me for some reason.
I agree with that too, Felix, because if somebody posted something like Nylon Pinkney's artwork, for example, we all know that she's the artist, we know her work. But if she put her art somewhere else, possibly outside of SL, she could also get attacked as using AI or something like that.
So I'm looking at one of the examples, meshed potato. And I guess what the issue here is that the pictures are AI-generated photos, and then the actual in-world item that you receive is nothing like that. Is that kind of what's going on? Yeah, Luke, I don't know if we exactly have a solution for it right now. It's something we're still trying to figure out. I saw someone talking about how, I can't remember the term they used, it was like a play off of Occam's razor, where if it's AI-generated slop, then it's easy to kind of know. But if it's not AI-generated slop, you can't really tell if it's AI then. So how do you know what's AI and what's not?
Well, some of the ads that have been talked about is easy to tell because, for instance, hair in SL doesn't look like that, or the faces don't look like that. Some people look at the hands, but there are better AI products, because this is the thing. Some people are just using quick and dirty AI. Other people have good AI skills, and fingers and hands won't be the giveaway.
Too perfect. It's a good way of putting it. Now this one that we just got linked, I think Ezra made like this one. I can tell this is AI, yeah. So I don't think that people want to ban AI full stop completely, like all pieces of it are tools with it. At least that's what the idea, or that's what the vibe I'm getting. Really? Okay. Even if someone used like AI to help them like write like a programming script or something?
That's what I was kind of getting at, Ezra. The stuff that I came across yesterday wasn't, thank God, that, because I would have just closed my computer and be crying in the corner. But it was just bad. Real, which makes it worse because you're suddenly looking at a real situation, and that's not what we're in SL looking at or expecting to see. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true too. I think AI has its place for some people in some situations.
I can definitely empathize with the problem of, the marketplace being flooded with like sort of low effort AI slop.
What's ML?
Machine learning.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yep, no worries.
So, Sarah, sorry to single you out. So Animats, for instance, has a whole region where there are bot character. Well, I think they're Animesh actually, but they speak and engage and things like that, and they're not real avatars. But what is the difference? Because we had I can't remember what they named her. They named her after the Good Places robot-y chick. At the Welcome Hub, we had her, and she was so knowledgeable about Second Life. I kept trying to trick her. And we can't be at the Welcome Hub 24/7. No, not Boxy. An actual avatar was being run by AI, and I could ask her historical facts about SL that were just random things, and she was able to give the answers really well. But, oh, sorry, I didn't know if you were answering me on that one. But yeah, I don't see the problem with that. I don't see the problem with us not being able to be at the Welcome Hub 24/7 and a AI bot helping a new resident.
Clever bot, man, that really takes me back.
I think that's the problem, that AI is just one term and it has so many things going on with it.
Right, yeah. I mean, technically, like, bots, they play a pretty important role in some things, right, for SL? Not necessarily like a generative AI thing, but, bots can do things for you.
Right. I mean, some people have bot systems set up that, I've never done it for Hairfair, but getting all the people that are in the event into the group, for instance, if I had a bot that could do that 24/7 and just keep sending them invites if they IM'd and asked for one, and it would check that they'd paid for being in the event, etc., that would make life easier, sure. I just don't do it, but people do that, so that's one way of having things work. I miss the parrot. What makes that different than the what are the bots called that turn up at places and scan us all and then put out a list of the most popular items at the moment? Yeah, them. They're doing that now.
Bodybots is doing that?
Yeah, if you go to the website, you can see what the most worn item is of the week based on their scans.
Really?
Yeah. Really interesting. They also put out lists of all the abandoned land if people are looking to buy it and to request it for auction.
Is this the attachments tab on Bodybot's website?
Yes, yes. It is like a grey area, but then again we have the What Is She Wearing HUD, so we can do it ourselves as well. So it's like one of those long...
I'll definitely say I'm not entirely surprised about some of the things listed on here.
Yeah. That was a problem. That was a privacy issue. Putting a list of people that were the top sellers on Marketplace meant that they were also prone to, yeah, they were making more money than everybody else. They're in an office all day. We get to be on the grid.
I have got to go run to another meeting. Pantera, can you DM me in World once you get in another try? And then if it doesn't work, I'm going to get it working for you. Okay, I got to run.
Thank you, Sntax. Great meeting as always. And Callie and Juniper. Oh, where did Juniper go? Damn, I missed that.
She had an appointment. She had to run out too.
I know, but I missed her leaving. I feel bad now. I'm gonna go check if the firestorm thingy works. Bye all. Thank you. Have a lovely week. Rest of your week.